Tomo Bros care.
Cog, the give a crap meter. It's down 2 whole points.
Oh no, that's horrible. What are we gonna do?
Wait a second. Dietaku.
Oh, right. Yeah, care.
Oh, right. You never cared in the first place.
What? I care. I care about a lot of things.
Mostly just pineapple on pizza.
Oh. That ain't right.
Yeah. I cast down the gauntlet.
Oh no, the care meter's going into the negatives now.
We've already lost all 16 of our subs. Welcome, everyone, to the Tomodachi Bros Dietaku Diabetes Corner Hour Review Weekly tonight.
I am already regretting this. We just started and I'm already regretting this.
Yes, this is a special episode.
Yeah.
Yes, we actually decided to do a double. Not only will you be treated to our review of My Little Pony Equestria Girls Rainbow Rocks, but we also decided, just for the heck of it, to do the Care Bears movie.
The original 1985 theatrical release, which, by the way, was not on my viewing site of choice. I actually had to pay YouTube $4 whole for us to watch this movie.
I went above even beyond that because, according to our Herr Lore Master, I needed to know additional things. So I decided to do additional research, and I watched the first Equestria Girls film.
So we want to start with ponies on this one? Or?
Yeah, I'm gonna need some context for this because I've seen like random My Little Pony episodes, and as soon as I walked into this, I was like, oh, they're people now.
Okay, to give you some background on exactly the how and why this very, very strange thing even exists in the first place, you got to bear in mind that after season 2, which by the way was incredibly popular, after season 2, the development staff got split into 2 teams. And if I'm recounting any of this history wrong, you weird pony historians who are way more passionate about this than I am can fill in the blanks. Half the team went to develop the show and create the rather short half season that was season 3. Season 3 was not well received because it was like, oh crap, we're going to get canceled, resolve every single plot point that we've ever had, make Discord a good guy, and all this stuff, and do it as fast as possible.
And by the way, my experience with the show, I would watch sporadic episodes with my baby sister. And so I saw like Discord, basically he's a chaos god from, Elric or Warhammer. He's just this guy who spreads, destruction and misfortune. And then they just have this random episode where, oh, I'm going to help you and be your friend. I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah, it's every bit as unsatisfying as it sounds like from that description.
Yeah.
The other half of the dev team went on, they were going to make a movie. And this movie very well might have been the very last thing that fans of the series would ever get from it. It was very much contentious, and we didn't really 100% know what was going to happen at this point. So Hasbro was like, okay, we got to knock it out of the park. We have to give the fans what they want. So they go on sites, presumably like DeviantArt.
I'm sorry, Professor. I'm sorry if I can interject. They would never give these particular fans what they wanted, because what they wanted was Fritz the cat, but with humanized ponies. And no one is going to do that.
Yeah, basically, the official word, that at least this is the version of the story I was told, was they basically saw things like DeviantArt with humanized pony characters. They're like, oh, that's what the fandom wants. They want it to be more like Bratz dolls. And I got to say, the year this happened, I decided it would be funny if I took one of these. The animation is fine. The toys, on the other hand, are Uncanny Valley par excellence. So I took a Fluttershy doll from this particular series and shipped it to my good buddy Dietaku, who at the time was not my roommate. And the SOB sends me an Applejack doll from the same series for the same Christmas. I'm like, wow, okay, I guess I deserve that.
I still have that, by the way. I have it in storage.
Wow.
Because I'm not letting you win.
I have Applejack standing next to a Kamen Rider Wizard. I have her next to my Kamen Rider Wizard fig art. And so they were like, okay, just give them what they want. So they created this high school AU setting, and they kind of have to contrive this whole reason. And they are so convinced that this is going to be the end of the line for them. They basically make evil Twilight Sparkle. The Sunset Shimmer literally gets her name because they opened a thesaurus, looked up Twilight Sparkle, and got Sunset Shimmer.
Yeah, but I'm just saying this, though. Sunset Shimmer has a way more interesting design than Twilight Sparkle does. Twilight Sparkle just literally has Hime cut with like a little like blue thing going down her bangs. Sunset Shimmer looks like she has bacon hair, and it's like, if she actually was like a humanized character, she would basically be a JoJo character. She was just that weird looking.
No, and I can see that. And basically in the first film, Sunset Shimmer steals one of the elements of harmony. And I guess I have to explain that.
They're magic. Okay. They're magic things. They're powered by love. Okay, that's literally what it is.
Magic rocks. They're the Chaos Emeralds of ponies. Basically,
there's seven things. It's not that difficult, dude.
It's six. It's six things. Then if you bring them together, you get magic. So Sunset Shimmer steals the crown, tries to mind control this school full of alternate universe OCs from DeviantArt. Basically succeeds in all but the very last moment, where she just gets like spirit bombed into a literal crater in front of the school. And yeah, that was like, this was almost the last thing in the entire series. That was literally going to be how it ended, or so a lot of people thought at the time. Ultimately, a fourth season was greenlit, and I think a year or two later, they decided to follow up on it. And basically their solution to it was to split it into just the two universes, or just two different major storylines, where the ponies are more fantasy and the Equestria girls would be a little bit more grounded, but still have magical elements. The longer it goes on, the more Sunset actually becomes the main character. And we see the makings of this in Rainbow Rocks, where Sunset is basically a completely different character now. And she's basically still reeling in the aftermath of the events of the first film. No one wants really to be around her because she literally turned into a gigantic fiery she-demon and nearly took over Magic Pony World, using the students as her slaves. And as I rather dryly observed to Dietaku, I'm like, magic is a waste of time. All she would have needed was a catchy enough pop anthem, and they just would have followed her to whatever ends of the earth.
Yeah, it's kind of for that reason that I mean, TLDR to my overall thoughts in a certain way. And I mean, there are certain characters that kind of lend themselves well to this, especially the second film. Not so much the first one, because they have a lot of very belabored buildup, which is still entertaining to, explain. Oh, it's like, now we're in high school. We're in high school. But the second one is basically a slightly less self-aware Teen Girl Squad episode. Like, I'm pretty sure Teen Girl Squad actually had an episode that basically was this movie. And
the battle of the bands, you guys.
My face feels seaworthy.
I mean, I already know for a fact. I'm just going to preempt any kind of scoring. I'll be the one who gives this one the highest value, and Dietaku will almost assuredly be the one who gives it the lowest. But that's okay, because
okay. And to preempt that, I didn't hate these films. I didn't. I just honestly, I feel like I actually had a better time with the first one than you did. And I just you were like, yeah, what do you think? I'm like, yeah, it's all right. I mean, it seems really weird that you chose the second film rather than the first one.
That is true. That is true.
But I mean, I imagine it's because, you know, it's the one with the JoJo Awakening parody scene. So,
oh yeah,
I'll link that in the description for anyone who's curious about what we're talking about. Really, my one mistake, and I didn't even think about this till Cog sent a 5-paragraph essay. I was like, I chose the one that was very themed on music, and while the music in Ponies, it can be very hit or miss. A lot of it can be very catchy, very earwormy. I told Dietaku the cafeteria song in the first Equestria Girls is very, very earwormy. It will get stuck in your head very easily. And so that in mind, Cog just word vomits this 5-paragraph essay, and it's probably the fastest I've ever seen him type in my life. And he just, oh my God, this is the worst thing ever, and here is why. I'm just like, oh, you like it that much, good buddy. So it's like, maybe I should have picked Camp Everfree. Maybe that would have gone over better.
Oh man, I just got like millennial whooped to death. The music in this one is there's a lot of music, and it's very like early 2000s Western pop sound alike sort of stuff. So there's a lot of whoa, like the it was just it is what it is. It's obviously not particularly designed and aimed at my demographic.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think your wife would be surprised if you were an 8-year-old girl. I think she would have many questions about that.
I know. So, but yeah, I was like, oh, I was actually like, you can call me an old fuddy-duddy, but I actually preferred like the older, if we're comparing the two, the Care Bears soundtrack.
I wouldn't necessarily go that far.
They're both not good, but
Professor Snek actually had some thoughts about that. I was actually surprised. That one was more entertaining, but I don't know, it was less coherent.
Yeah, let's do a plot breakdown next. And because I pretty much already explained the first film, I might as well go ahead and explain the second. Okay, Sunset Shimmer.
Oh, you're missing out the best character, though. Sonic the Hedgehog shows up.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right. Sonic the Hedgehog. Okay, so there's Flash Sentry, and he was kind of set up to be Twilight's boyfriend, basically, in the first film. Fans took this poorly.
Yeah.
Might be a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
Largely, what's a nice way of saying most reviled character in the fandom for several years straight. So he basically only gets to show up like twice in Rainbow Rocks, and really only does like one thing during the rapid fire elimination of the band segment during the montage. He gets to show up again in the fourth film, and they actually kind of start developing his character. And also in the comics, and I'm really indicting myself this episode, aren't I?
Dude, you're a nerd. It's all right. I'm not gonna.
This is the guy who will not admit to being a brony.
And I still don't really think I am. I'm really not.
I'm not gonna give you flack about liking comics. I mean, I will judge you, but that's different.
Yeah, like in the comics, it turns out like he's a huge fan of D&D, and he has like hobbies outside of just being like, yeah, I play guitar and I go fast. Can't catch the hedgehog, faker, beep beep.
I mean, it might have been the fact that the professor was like constantly quoting Smash Brothers Sonic, taunts and or Sonic 2006, but I found him one of the most entertaining characters in both. He
takes
movies.
Way more crap than he rightfully deserves. He's actually like a really nice guy.
Dude, because he's the one male character in the sea of Western Toho.
I just don't agree with you on that, dude. You've said that several times, but it's not really like that, though. There are a lot of male characters who are very positively received in the franchise. The thing is...
okay, all right, okay. Name one.
How about the Flim Flam Brothers? Very popular. Snips and Snails are actually...
They were in... How many episodes were they actually in?
At least 3. They're kind of just recurring antagonists. Snips and Snails showed up quite frequently and were generally well received. The thing, okay, you want to know what really rustled the jimmies was that their pure and beloved waifu, Twilight Sparkle, was hooking up with him. And that's really what made people angry. Fight me in the comments. You know in your heart that I'm right.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying. He is corrupting the waifus. That's the thing. That's what I'm getting at.
That's his most grievous sin right there.
Yeah.
And the poor dude, like I said, he's actually just kind of a well-meaning goober.
And I mean, to be perfectly honest, if Twilight Sparkle is your waifu, I just have to ask, do you play human in fantasy games? Are you that unimaginative? Wow.
The perfect choice if you're boring. I'm just going to quote Joe Cat on that one. Okay, so basically, Sunset Shimmer basically is kind of reeling from the events of the first film. The other girls take her under their wing and are just like, no, it's cool. You can hang out with us until all this kind of blows over. And they meet the Sirens, who honestly, and I know you guys might be surprised when I say this, they're probably the best developed villains that the Equestria Girls series ever gets.
Seriously?
Yeah, like I said, Sunset Shimmer in the first film did not have a discernible personality. She was just evil Twilight Sparkle.
I think it helped the fact that I saw Friendship is Manly too, and I just kind of assumed that they were like pillarmen. And then they turned out to be like evil seahorses. I'm like, oh, this is way less interesting.
Yeah, they're like these weird sea creatures. Okay, there's a little bit of backstory, and Twilight only mentions it kind of like in a breath. There's this dude named Star Swirl the Bearded, who is basically the pony version of Merlin in that he tends to make everything worse. And his answer to pretty much every problem he's ever faced with is, this thing sucks. Better throw it into another dimension and make it someone else's problem.
Okay. Before anyone else says anything, he's referring to Fate Merlin. Okay, Snek has a beef against Merlin in the Fate series. Okay, that's why he's talking about.
That's fair. That's a fair asterisk. And he basically just yeets them into the other dimension. It's like, yep, someone else's problem now. Dump some ice water on that, and I'm done. So the Sirens basically feed on raw negativity. And the best they can kind of do at present is to cause squabbles because magic in this world is basically a non-factor. And they see the aftermath of the first film, which is the catalyst for the second. So the Sirens basically enter the school because apparently no one in the administrative department is actually checking to see if they actually are getting new transfer students or if people are just randomly wandering into their campus.
Yeah, I was about to say, like in the first film, Twilight Sparkle literally walks up to the professor, the principal, and she's like, "I'm Twilight Sparkle, and I want to be, the queen of the ball." And the principal's like, "Yeah, okay," and not even asking, like, "Do I know you? You don't seem familiar." Yeah, this happens a lot over the course of these two films.
The Equestria Girls eventually kind of stop focusing on the school so much, and it becomes less of a factor, but it's kind of obvious at first for people who've ever dealt with bureaucracy. The Sirens come in and they're like, oh, hey, they're doing this weird music thing, so we can just twist this to our advantage. And so they do, and that is when the Pillar Man scene, as Dietaku called it, kicks in. Yeah, basically, one of the things that I actually really like about Rainbow Rocks is it did something I think the series should have done a long time ago and made Rainbow Dash the antagonist she was always meant to be.
Can I talk about Rainbow?
Sure.
Can I talk about her now? Okay, because she is like, as I said, my experience was I have three little sisters. I was there for OG ponies. I saw it when I was a very, very, very young boy. It wasn't my thing, but and then I had my baby sister, and I watched the first two seasons of Friendship is Magic basically with her. And I drove her up a wall because I called it the manly show. And because, friendship is manly. And she, being 5 years old, had no rejoinder for this. But I remember distinctly that I really did not like Rainbow Dash. And the reason why I don't like her is because she seemed to attract a particular type of fan. Being a tomboy, being very athletic, she seemed to attract very, shall we say, submissive, very passive men who were attracted to her. And I cannot say I blame them. But guys, gents, bros, even femme bros, I can understand the appeal of tomboys for girls too. Look, you want to get with a tomboy, you got to be assertive. You got to be, hey, what are you doing this Friday? Don't go, oh man, I'm just so passive and sensitive and she's so attractive and assertive. She's not going to go up to you and go, hey there, you little soy boy. I'm punching you and taking you to my cave now. No, she's never going to do that.
Rainbow Dash is not assertive. She's just obnoxious and abrasive, and I hate her character so much.
But here's the thing. So they just kind of made that character her character because she didn't really do much in the first film.
No, she was a pretty passive force there.
They basically, made her that character, like character that goes like straight out of my mind and put it into the second film. I'm like, wow. Wow, I don't remember helping write this film. Damn.
Yeah, she's basically a secondary antagonist, and she literally makes everything worse without ever making up for it. And she doesn't learn her lesson, and she takes nothing away from the experience. The one who actually has to like stand up and get them to get their ducks in a row is Sunset.
Although, I mean, to be perfectly honest, there's a lot of Flandersation too. Like, Fluttershy in the second film basically is a straight up, am I kawaii Ugyu, moe blob?
Yeah, and then so it ultimately culminates with them having this big falling out and Sunset having to be like, okay, you guys are too stupid to figure this out without me. So let me just explain this as simply as I can. You're being awful to each other and you need to stop.
And I can't believe I'm the one who has to tell you this because I literally tried to like kill you all via friendship suicide last movie.
So, I mean, yeah. And there is this bit in the middle that I kind of wish they had focused a little bit more on. Twilight the pony gets dragged back into the human world again. She's really not that important, funny enough. And there's this little exchange that they have while at a sleepover at Pinkie Pie's. And as Twilight's like, oh, everyone just expects me to have the answers, even though I have no idea what I'm doing. And Sunset's like, well, it's worse for me. Everyone expects that I'm just going to be the enemy. And this whole like, oh, there's expectations versus what is the person actually going to be capable of doing. And it's like a really poignant moment, and they kind of just throw it away for a visual gag. And I'm like, you almost had a genuine moment, movie, and you ruined it.
All right, I have to ask, why were there two different versions? Because there was a point where they were portal jumping, and it was like, no, you can't come with me, because then there'd be another version of you. But then it's like the pony version.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's a little unclear exactly. I mean, really, it fell out the way it did just for convenience sake for the progression of the narrative. But basically, at this one particular school, it was just like the 5 girls and Sunset. Now, we have not seen if this world has a parallel version to Sunset, but following the logic established, there should be. We don't know where she is, but she exists. And in the after credits moment, you do see human Twilight. And honestly, I want to say from the third movie going forward, they literally just quit having the ponies cross over at all. And it just focuses on the humans.
You know, would be really hilarious / dark is if she had to pull a D4C.
as cartoonishly over the moon evil as she was in the first film, I would not even be surprised. You're in the way.
Yeah,
oh my God.
I'm just saying, I mean.
Ooh, dark.
Yeah.
And basically the day is saved because of the power of pop rock, I guess
pop
you'd
music,
call that.
I guess.
Pop music, yeah.
Pop music saves the world.
And
I'm sorry, there was no. I mean, I'll say this: the main girls are a lot more rock than ironically the people that actually get their power from magic rocks. I'm just saying.
Yeah, they destroy the pendants that the sirens use to express their magic in this world, which renders them harmless. And it's kind of like a lot of the fandom are like, are they just gonna starve to death now, or like, are they literally just gonna like die? And they're like, no, they're just like ordinary dumb scummy humans now. They just like, eat tacos and burgers like the rest of us.
Bewoes me. I used to have magic. I remember, I can see them being old. I remember when I used to have magic and was having battles with pony girls. Shut up, Grandma.
Grandma, that's so wacky. Grandma's off her meds again.
Yeah, basically. And they do show up again. In one of the later bits, they do show up again, and Sunset kind of suspects they're up to something. And in actuality, they're just trying to like relearn how to sing from square one, basically. They kind of go through their own little thing later on. For the sake of the film, they are soundly defeated, and friendship is saved, and the high school once again avoids narrowly being mind controlled by crazy divas. And the takeaway from all this is Rainbow is the worst and should never, ever be allowed to do anything ever again.
I don't know. My TLDR on that one was it was basically Lady Gaga versus Twisted Sister. I was basically making a lot of Twisted Sister references when I watched the second film.
Yeah, man, this was weird. This was weird.
I will agree on that. It is pretty weird.
No, it absolutely.
But ironically, it makes more sense than our other film that we had to watch.
It does. I only have a passing knowledge of My Little Pony. I know very little about it, other than it's like I remember hearing about the whole brony thing, and I remember stumbling across a few episodes. And so I absolutely get like the draw for the show, because the random episodes I did see, the writing is pretty good. I mean, it was quite funny, the episodes I was watching. Yeah, and so I absolutely get the draw, but I think starting with this movie is not the place to. It is not the place to start. As soon as you go in, it's like, what is happening right now? If you don't have the back context,
it's a lot to take in all at once, and I probably should have picked a better starting point.
Yeah, I mean
that's kind of on me. I'll take that.
Like so much.
See, here's the thing, dog. Here's the thing. You dodged a certain bullet because it basically was a TED talk, that my viewing of it, because you'd have to pause every so often and go, okay, so the reason this is going to happen is because you got to understand this is concurrently with season 3, and this character right here, they're very important. Oh, and this character was a fan favorite, and they had a meme, and the meme was like, I don't like tacos. You had to have been there. But okay, anyways, this character right here, and it's like, okay.
The thing is, there's a lot of love put into this, and the developers clearly had a lot of fun with it. And I will say a lot. There's probably more than there should be in terms of like in jokes and nods to people who already know.
Yes.
Someone coming in for the first time would probably be a bit more confused, but I think the movie stands on its own despite that.
Yes.
We get the recap of the first movie pretty quick. So we don't need to wonder too much about what happened.
Yeah, I'm just saying that I probably could have done without your entire like flow chart, Pepe Sylvia style flow chart of like, okay, so this connects to this, and then I'm like, okay, I think I can.
It's funny because I was kind of wanting more of that, because half the time I was like, why are they girls? Why are they ponies crossing dimensions? Like, what is happening right now? We're just singing a lot of songs.
The beautiful thing is I can infer things there, Snek. You don't understand. I can infer things. It's okay. I'll figure it out, okay, through context. Context clues.
Yes, if I leave it to your devices, I'll suddenly have, 3 novels and an H dojin explaining precisely what you think happened based on the context.
Okay, so I think what actually happened is that this was all caused because Xeon and the Zentradi didn't like each other.
Like I said.
Okay, so all right. Starting from this point.
It's a Macross sequel, which is an alternate world.
Exactly.
It all makes sense now.
It's all because the Macross caught the Pokemon. Yes. And that's why everyone is jaundiced and has weird skin color. But
they needed to be out in the sun more.
Overall, I think the movie stands.
That's what happens when you're in space.
I'm not going to say, oh my God, it changed my life. No, because it absolutely did not. It's a fun film, but not one that is on a top 100 movies you need to see before you die list.
I would agree.
Okay. All right. So, overall / final thoughts, gentlemen.
So, I was confused. Like I said, I started the movie. I was kind of overwhelmed by lots of Western pop sound-alike tracks. I felt like a lot of the characters didn't quite. Again, it's very much a sequel. I felt like I didn't have all the back elements to really pick like a favorite character, because I was like, we're kind of like singing a lot, and I don't feel like Dietaku mentioned certain characters were just literally like, like what was it, Fluttershy? She's like you just said, she's basically just mushy kawaii pony, and you don't get, like, for a lot of individual characters, more of that like character development.
Yeah, because in the actual cartoon, yes, she has that, but she has other aspects to her. Whereas in these two films, it's basically, don't bully me, please. I'm very, very. You're bullying me anyway.
Yeah, So I felt like I was missing a lot of like character elements or character. Like I felt, it feels very much like that experience of, what it was like. It's like it's like trying to sit down and watch Buckaroo Banzai for the first time, and you have no idea what the heck's what that's even about.
Oh, that is a fantastic film. We need to make Snek watch that. That is a fantastic film. Snek, we need to sit you down. Have you seen Buckaroo Banzai in the Eighth Dimension?
I've seen bits and pieces. I've not actually sat down and watched it front to back.
Dude, you need to watch it.
It's pretty wild.
It is great.
But it's like you get that initial of like, what is happening right now? But I mean, overall, it's a cute film. It's clearly not necessarily aimed at me in my demographic. But I mean, it was cute. Did it? I'm gonna have to give it 2 ratings. I'm gonna say, for my experience of it, as a series, as like a standalone film, it's definitely a sequel. I did not have the context going in. I'd give it I have to give it like a 5 out of 10. I wasn't huge on the music, and there's a lot of music.
No, you weren't. Like I said, you sent me a 5-paragraph essay on exactly why it wasn't.
Yeah, I caught millennial whooping cough from this one.
not just 5 paragraphs.
I did
cited to sources and everything. It was pretty gnarly. You had backing up. You had backing of videos and stuff to like from other musical experts. Yeah.
Oh, I did. I guess I did. And I mean, but it's like I totally get the My Little Pony draw. I see why it is very cute. It is very adorable. My personal experience of this individual movie was not the best, but did it give on the diabetes scale? I'd probably give it like a good 8 out of 10. It's pretty darn cute. So.
I guess.
Oh, okay. Are we? Is that our criterion for this one? The diabetes and good taste scale.
That was just my experience, I guess. That's the best way I could describe it.
Obviously,
it's pretty darn cute, but it's not really my thing.
No, understandably. And like I said, I knew I was going to take crap for this, and Dietaku has given me plenty.
I mean, I am at your guys' mercy on this one. This entirely was supposed to be me.
And that's all right. It's all in good fun. I'd say the movie is a 7 out of 10. It's very entertaining. And a lot of the time you do just have to turn your brain off and accept, yes, this is happening. And that's okay.
All right. I mean, I was going to say, I'd give them both a solid 7 out of 10. I mean, both of them as a unit. They have their high moments. They have their low moments. Honestly, I think the antagonists are both kind of flat, but I'm just going to be real. Let's be real, guys. Apart from maybe Midnight Moon, none of them really are like, oh, see, this is the anti-hero that we always needed. It turns out that this character had the perspective that altered everything in cartoon horse land. No, they're all, I am evil pony, and here's my reason for being evil. What's that? You were mean to me once, or Queen Celestia was mean to me once, and that's it. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, they're all like that. They're all pretty one-dimensional.
Now, to be fair, Celestia is pretty awful.
Well, I mean, I guess if your first and only resort to, someone disagreeing with you is to yeet them out of the galaxy, then yeah, I guess I would be pretty awful too. But I mean, they're perfectly serviceable. If you have a little sister, a little daughter, and you really want to annoy the heck out of them, sit down and MST3K the movie with them. You will really annoy them. I can say that I have experience with this. Now with these films, okay, all right, I'm not a brony, all right? The only reason why I watched the freaking series was because my little sister demanded that I do so. And she was such a good little emoto that because I watched that with her, she watched Dragon Ball and Vista North Star with me. So I'm just saying.
It's a trade-off, yeah.
It was a trade-off.
Yeah, it's a wild thing. It's a wild thing to have your little 7-year-old sister there while heads are exploding. But she stuck with it for me. So
okay, so are we done with the ponies now?
Oh wait, Mr. Snek. You already did yours, I think, right? Okay. So yes, moving on to our next.
So yeah, 7 out of 10. I mean, Moe scale, I guess, or diabetes scale. It's a 9 out of 10. I mean, it's pretty freaking cute, or as Travis Touchdown says,
it is.
Moe.
It's pretty cute.
But I mean, that doesn't mean it's good. But it's all right. It's perfectly serviceable. All
right, so are we ready to move on to the bears?
Yeah, now it's something even weirder.
Oh boy.
Something successfully weirder than sweet ponies.
This poor child was so lonely. You want to know how lonely he was? He summoned Satan. Yeah. It's like, wow, we went from 0 to 100 really quickly.
Yeah, the thing is, the movie, honestly, overall, the movie was very unfocused because it starts and there's these two little kids, probably 11 at the oldest. This girl I don't even remember the girl's name. I know the boy was Jason. What was the girl's name? Anyone remember?
Kim and Jason.
I want to say Kimberly. Right? That's probably wrong.
Okay. Kim and Jason. The Pink and Red Ranger are just walking through this park, and the cameras are like, oh, these two don't care anymore. So they send down two bears. I want to say Tenderheart and Secret Heart. And the thing is, Secret Heart doesn't speak ever
because it's because he's the secret keeping bear.
And so Secret Bear doesn't talk. So Friend Bear kind of had to pull all the heavy lifting. And it's like, you guys should care. And they're like, no, that's dumb. Our parents went to get cigarettes and never came home. And
it's funny because that's actually basically what happened.
And so they're like, no, I can explain everything. And as he's going to try to explain everything, this weird teleport machine just yeets them out to Carolot, which is a city on the clouds. And
or heaven.
It might be heaven, maybe. And they're just like, yeah, we care now because these weird plush dolls have sung a music number with us. And then it's like, oh, that's not important. Now we're going to look at this older teenaged kid named Nicholas. And it's like, what? Pick a plot line and develop it.
Yeah, let's not forget with the fact that we get Mickey Rooney narrating.
Oh god, yeah, it's exclusively A-list actors. This and the original theatrical My Little Pony movie was a Mel Brooks reunion. We're gonna do that movie at some point because I want to talk about that.
The title song is Carole King too. So it's
Carole King, who's the most bored I have ever heard her in her entire career.
Well, you want to know that's the thing. That's the thing with these 80s cartoon toy commercials. The Transformers film that was Orson Welles' last actual theatrical appearance.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
He was a giant world-devouring robot.
Yep. And he said something along the lines of, oh, I was a toy that ate other toys.
Mm-hmm.
He was incredibly dismissive of that.
Yes. So, and yet these Transformers fans are like, oh, no, it was the best one. I'm like, you guys do realize the entire point of that movie was literally to kill all the old toys so you would buy new toys.
Yep. And so they attempt something similar in this, because at the start end of the movie, they're like, we're introducing the Care Bear cousins. And even the Care Bears have no idea who these characters are.
Oh, is this the brave lion and the monkey and
the lion?
Yeah, the lion, the penguin, the elephant, and all them. And the thing is, Care Bears came and went kind of before our time. My older sister, however, actually collected Care Bears. And I remember when we were little, she had a shelf installed in her room with all the Care Bears lined up against the wall. And honestly, it was kind of like Beanie Babies before Beanie Babies. These things were kind of hot at the time.
I absolutely believe that. I can totally see that.
Yeah. And so
they are very plushy.
Yeah, they're very collectible, very marketable, very safe. And the thing is, one of the things I actually kind of have to salute the film for is that even though I think little girls would take to it more, I think real little boys would enjoy something about it too, just because of like the nature themes. Because honestly, Braveheart the Lion is not a bad design as far as like plushy mascot creatures go.
Not at all.
Yeah, and so basically, Nicholas finds the Necronomicon. I don't know how else to describe this book.
Yeah, that's
no. And the thing is, I don't know exactly how they did it, but there was something I noticed whenever the book was on screen, because it looks like the rest of the film is animated in 24 frames per second, which was the standard in the 80s. But the book was slightly smoother than that.
You thought I was joking about him summoning a demon. Yeah. You know,
I don't think it was like 60 frames per second, but she might have been animated at a different speed because she had this weird, like, etheric quality to the way she moved around. The book's a she, by the way. It has a woman's face in it and this weirdly seductive voice.
No, not just that. It's that, like, half the time the book, who like, has a weirdly seductive voice, is patterned after an older woman and is constantly making eyes at Nicholas.
Yeah, it's weird.
I'm just saying, Freud would have had a field day with this film.
It's like, and then she's like, oh, you can use your magic and become greater than everyone else. And he's just like, oh yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking about. And so he puts on a performance and humiliates himself. And then she's like, oh, do you want to teach them a lesson? And I don't have any other things to compare it against. It's the moment with the clown horror from Makai Night Garo all over again. Yeah. And it's like turns the audience on each other and they're just like pummeling each other. And he just like runs away in terror afterwards. And even the Care Bear who's there is just like, nope, this is not my problem. I'm out. And he just leaves.
Yeah.
If I could add one thing, though, it lacks the two puppets arguing with each other over the nature of humanity. It's true. And it's like, are humans weak or are they just stupid? They're both.
Yeah, and even Friend Bear, who's there, is like, nope, this is not my wheelhouse. I am out of here. And he just books it and leaves them to fight to the death.
Can I say something, though? I mean, speaking about what you were talking about before, about the animation with the book, honestly, the thing that really stood out to me about this film was how smooth everything was in terms of animation. Like, I was expecting very janky, very like low budget. This was very clearly a toy commercial as a 90-minute movie. But the animation was really smooth. There was a lot of tweening. There was a lot of smudging. It was very, very good stuff. This must have been very expensive.
Can you believe that the budget for this movie was $34 million?
I believe it.
Are you kidding?
And I think the money's on the screen.
Yeah.
How much? Okay, all right. So I assume you have the IMDb app, Cog. How much did it gross?
Oh, I'm sorry. That I got my numbers wrong. The budget was $2 million and it grossed $34 million. So they actually made quite a bit of money on it.
Okay.
Oh,
that explains the string of sequels that followed this film.
Fandom, you got to fix your stuff, man. You're not keeping up with Wiki.
You know, I could see that actually, considering how short it is. Because it is only 90 minutes.
Stretches to reach the 90-minute mark. There's a lot of padding in this film.
Oh, yeah.
There is a lot of padding and there's a lot of stock animation. Like, they have the one karaoke scene where they basically repeat verses like 3 times. But, like, for instance, the part where Grumpy Bear is like trying to rebuild the teleporter, and like he's grabbing tools, and these are all different tools, and this is all very smooth, like him, having his hand come down, his fingers grasping around it and everything. And they actually animated all of his fingers and everything, even though he was like a little plush doll. And I mean, there was like another one, for instance, when they were just encountering the Care Bear cousins. I think it was when the lion showed up, and I want to say Tenderheart Bear actually like snapped his fingers, and I'm like, damn, that was really good animation. So I, in spite of the fact that it's a very weird, very, very commercial product, I have to say it was very beautifully animated. So I have to at least give it that much. But yeah, it is really weird, though. It's very dreamlike, honestly. Like, they can't stick to one plot, so they kind of just meander from one to another. It kind of reminded me of Yellow Submarine, except I don't think it was intentionally like that, unlike Yellow Submarine.
Trippy. Yeah, it's a weird, like, very trippy experience watching it.
I think comparing it to a dream is the best comparison, because, like, there's no real, there's only one overarching plot line, and I had to complain about this because this upset me. Towards the start of the movie, Nicholas uses the key to unhinge the book, and that released her power. He drops the key, and Friend Bear finds it, and he hands it over. It's Jason. And he's like, hold on to this. If we lose it, we lose this battle. At the end of the film, he's like, okay, we need the key. We're going to bind the book. And the book just like blasts it out of existence. And then Friend Bear just makes another one. And I'm like, so what was Jason's role in this? Apart from like some halfway decent child acting and really, really awful child singing.
He had to learn to care.
Well, I think part of it too, what the thing that really stood out to me in that entire sequence was the fact that they're like, no, I have to care. You can't care. You don't care about anything. No, just close the book. And she's like, no. And that's it.
Like, I find it funny that the bears basically like resolve to basically violence to win with their like laser beam puppies.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, actually Snek pointed that out when we were watching it. It's like, we're gonna force you to care.
They do.
You don't
we have our unconditional mind control lasers, and you're gonna care whether you like it or not.
That's the horror movie right there. Then started 1984.
I think that's more Brave New World than 1984. Using drugs and mind control to make a dystopia.
And like, honestly, I think Kim and Jason really were done by child actors. And the reason I say that is not only do they sound the right age, there's a song that they unfortunately participate in when they're in the what was it? Forest of Feelings. That was it. In the Forest of Feelings, or had to sing this song. And when not only do they not harmonize at all, because Braveheart's voice is just so much deeper than the rest of theirs. The kid, they have Jason sing this line, and he's, do you have a house made all out of wood? And I'm like, the only thing more wooden than that house was that delivery.
It's pretty bad, yeah.
I was like, wow, okay, I am pretty convinced that was child actors doing the performances. And during the normal dialogue, they were actually pretty all right.
But Snek, I mean, they get at the very end, they have the amazing revelation in that one last line, which I think is just hilariously funny out of context. Aren't parents great, you guys?
Yeah, what was the deal with that? Out of nowhere, their parents came back from buying cigarettes? That's never explained.
No. It wasn't their old parents. They got adopted.
And they're like, oh man, it's so great that we were orphans and that we have parents now. Sucks for you, all the other orphans
parents
out there.
Who love us will buy us Care Bear toys in proportion to how much they love us. I'm just like,
no, I'm sorry. That's Metabots. Remember, kids.
It's just like, this movie is really bizarre. It has a hard time focusing. So there's like not just an A and B plot. There's like a C and D plot all happening at the same time.
Oh yeah, like for instance, when Nicholas decides to create the demon, and that so they have to not only do you have to deal with like the 3 Care Bear parties, but you have to deal with where's the demon at any given point.
It does feel like, it's kind of odd because it's like the Care Bear, the whole point is to get people to care, and yet it feels like they didn't really care about where the plot was going.
I mean, let's ask the real question here, Cog. Would you?
That's a good question.
That depends on how big that paycheck I would be.
Yeah, there you go. That's the answer. It depends on
that is
how many zeros
proportion to how much I would care about this project. And I know that sounds really cynical, but I think in some ways this film kind of is too.
It is.
Like its core message is like, you should care, but it's like, okay, but that's a very broad statement.
Yeah. Care about what exactly?
I mean, are you saying
care about caring?
We should care like deeply? Should we care passionately? Should we care about certain things and not others? Or are we literally to worry about literally everything? The movie doesn't really ever get around to defining its terms in regards to, caring about other people, which is generally the direction it seems to be pointing. It's like, you need to care about other people. It's like, yes, but can you show us some examples of this? I mean, honestly, the thing that stuck with me after the film was like that moment when Nicholas walks out of the funhouse castle and his eyes are just like going completely insane. And I'm like, that's going to terrify small children.
Yeah. That was the point where, the professor and I, while we were watching it, it's like, okay, this has gone between twee and psychologically disturbing multiple times. And I think we've gone full psychologically disturbing now.
Yeah, there were some like creepy moments.
Yeah.
What's his name? The bad guy, the boy, the wizard,
Nicholas.
Yeah. Sorry. Yes. Yeah. There's some weird parts between Nicholas and just the books and everything. It gets really dark there for a little bit.
It does.
I mean, comparatively.
Yeah. And the entire time the book's like, do it. You want the affections of an older woman, don't you? And Nicholas is like, oh, gee, golly gosh, I'm not so sure about this. This seems kind of satanic. And the book is like, just obey.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, the fact that he had his really goofy, like, cartoon cloud that had, like, weirdly well animated human eyes that were going around terrorizing people. Until, once again, the Care Bears forced the demon to care out of existence.
And then, all these weird Sonic the Hedgehog fan OCs start joining the party. And, like, the only ones who actually accomplish anything are Braveheart and, was it Swiftheart, the Blue Rabbit?
Yeah.
I also started quoting Sonic the Hedgehog smash taunts.
Oh, you mean Eric the Rabbit, your old Sonic OC?
Yeah, no one's gonna get that.
Okay, so once upon a time, Snek had a... so this is Snek Deepest Lore right now, brought to you by Professor Dietaku. Way back in the olden days, Snek had his own Sonic OC who was called Eric the Rabbit, and he had his own wacky adventures. And actually, for a long time before Snek actually made his channel, he was contemplating having a rabbit as his avatar. So out there in the multiverse, there's somewhere where the hipster hair is doing video game reviews. But that's not this timeline. Sorry, Snek.
No, that's true.
That's your deepest Snek lore there for the day.
And yeah, those are the only ones who actually do anything. And otherwise the demon just kind of bodies them every time they get close to it. And yeah, then the Care Bears just gang up on him and blast him to bits with their mind control lasers.
Yeah.
Well, to be perfectly honest, most of the Care Bear cousins, at the very least, just kind of show up when they're like, we need some friends. And they're like, yeah, here we are. And they just don't show up.
Yeah, they show up and then they don't accomplish anything because they don't have mind control belly lasers.
Yeah.
And then you go back to this theme park where like everyone who's left on the earth apparently is just like rioting and murdering each other.
No one cared anymore.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird one, man.
Well, see, I think the problem is that they're trying to do really, really deep things like what is love?
Baby,
don't even start, Snek.
Don't hurt me no more.
I walked into that and I tried to sidestep it, but they're trying to do things like that, except that they're trying to do it in a very non-moral, non-ethical, non-theological way. And so you basically have the most milquetoast, non-committal answer
of just care about stuff.
Yeah, it's like, why do you care? Well, just care. And it's like, okay.
About what? And to what degree? To what degree is too much caring? It
doesn't matter, just care.
Well, because if we were to answer those questions, we might actually reveal some bias, and we just want it to be as non-committal and just self-affirming as possible. So just care.
Yeah, and that's another thing is like the entire time Grumpy Bear is basically trying to fix this teleport machine. That's his plot line. It's pretty much like plot D.
He's the MVP of this entire thing, by the way. He basically is the reason why they succeed in the end.
Yeah, and he's working this entire time. While everyone else is kind of goofing off and having musical numbers, he's working his Knuckles Bear. And then suddenly it's like, oh no, people have stopped caring to the point where our entire world is literally about to splinter and fall apart. It's like, if the world stops caring, this entire kingdom of clouds is literally just going to shatter into a million pieces and just cascade to whatever is below.
And yeah, and like in the next scene, what are they doing on this ship? The rest of the other Care Bears are just like, man, caring's great. They're like, wow, tonal whiplash.
It is a weird, trippy film. It's really not a good movie by any stretch of the imagination.
No, it's really not.
No, but it's definitely memorable. Like, I distinctly remembered the female book demon, and I am not kidding you. I have not seen this film in like at least 25 years, if not more. And yet I'm like, oh crap. Is this the one with the evil book that's basically Satan? And I'm like, yep. It's that one. I haven't seen this film since I was a very small child. And you're like, yeah, no, it pretty much was like I remembered.
It's one of those films where it's like, that wasn't really a good film, but I was entertained despite that.
Yeah.
And so it's like,
yeah,
if you guys ever want to follow back up on this sometime in the future and do like the other theatrical releases, I would be okay with that.
Oh, no. Care Bears 2.
Isn't that the one where like the weird redhead kid is like literally Satan or something?
The New Generation. That was the second one. Yeah, that's the one with the redhead kid. Yeah.
Ah, yes, Care Bears, the next generation.
Captain Jean-Care Picard. No, I'm sorry, Jean-Luc Picard.
Who seek out nude life and nude civilizations to boldly feel where no man has feared before. No man has cared before.
Okay, because no man, when in space, no one can hear you care. Okay, guys, overall thoughts.
Oh, man. This is not, like you said, I feel like this is it's not fair to say it's a good film, but it's definitely entertaining. I would say it is extremely twee, though. I would have to give it a 9 on the diabetes meter myself.
That's fair.
It's extremely cutesy.
That's fair.
But I'm going to have to give it a 5 on the overall is it good meter. I mean, it's entertaining, but I mean, I might have lost a few brain cells watching this.
Yeah, that is fair to say.
Yeah.
Brownie's like, hey, have you ever done any hallucinogenic drugs? I'm like, does the Care Bear movie count?
Kind of, yeah.
What are your thoughts there, Cog?
I think, well, between the two of them, because I watched them back to back, between My Little Pony and Care Bears, My Little Pony is definitely the better feature, or think that I actually thought My Little Pony was a bit cuter, but I'm gonna go with my diabetes scale. I'd give this one maybe a 7 out of 10. I think it's a little bit dated, but it's still very, very cute. But then as just not being a great movie, it's like a 3.5 or a 4. It's really not good.
Wow, I was more generous. Damn.
So I guess that leaves me. In terms of overall cuteness, I'm kind of in the middle between you guys. I would say like an 8 out of 10 on pure diabetes. In terms of overall film quality, I think 4 is fair. The thing is, from a mechanical standpoint, there was money behind it, and it's on the screen. It really is. But it's the equivalent of dangling your car keys in front of them.
It really is.
Kids are capable of more, and I don't think they were really respecting their audience's IQs, neither kid nor parent alike.
Yeah, like I feel like there were many parents who were rolling their eyes when they went to go see this in the theaters. Like, oh boy, here we go. Yeah,
here we go.
It was very much like, open your pocketbooks, parents.
In some ways, it could actually feel a little bit jaded because, as Dietaku said, like they want you to care, but only insofar as you don't ask precisely how or why or how much.
Oh, that's what they want you to do. They want you to care about the Care Bears so you can buy them for your kids. That's what they want you to care about.
Oh, there you go.
Yep.
So, is that it, gentlemen?
I think that's it. I think we're going to move on to our next roulette.
All right. I'm excited for this one because this one was specifically engineered for me.
Yes.
Yes. This is the Snek needs to see.
And we need to get away from the diabetes, man. So it was a lot.
Yeah. But that's the thing, though. That's the thing, Cog, because it was supposed to be a palate cleanser before we got into the real meat and potatoes.
It was. Yeah. No, it was. All right, gents.
What are we calling this? The legendary anime that Snek has not seen yet?
I thought it was the Snek needs to watch roulette.
Yes. And let's see. We already have our four selections, I believe.
It was Trigun, Big O, Outlaw Star, and 08th MS team, I believe they were.
Outlaw Star. No. It was Gunsmith Cats was number 4.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Gunsmith
right.
Cats, yeah.
All right, you want to put those in order? So
one is Trigun, then the Big O, then Outlaw Star, and then Gunsmith Cats, because the top 2, 1 and 2 are me, and then 3 and 4 are Cog.
And I mean, Outlaw Star's been on the roulette like 4 or 5 times now.
I'm not gonna get mad for any of these ones, but I really want to see the Snek's response to Outlaw Star. It's a great show. I love it.
Okay, random number generator set up, and number 1,
Trigun.
That was Trigun.
All right. Vash the Stampede next time.
Well, not next time, because next time is going to be ho, ho, ho. Now I have the machine gun. Christmas films. But after that...
Shh. No. They're coming out in a different order. We're going to cut this out.
Yeah, I was about to say, we're going to be well past the Christmas episode by the time this goes live. But no, people can look forward or have already listened to our Christmas movie reviews, and they can go back and watch it now because it's retro-ironic in probably July.
And remember, spend money. Christmas is only 6 months away. Don't you care?
My Care Bears. Ooh.
My Care Bears, yes.
All right. Well, next time we get to go into outer space with Space Cowboys. And Snek will see a show he probably should have seen about 20 episodes ago, 20 years ago. Yeah, so... Or 20 episodes. I mean, it might have been 20 years.
Or 20, yeah, that's true.
We'll see. All right. Have a good one, everybody.
Sounds like fun.
Later.
See you next time.
Thank you for listening to the Tomodachi Brothers Review Podcast, produced and recorded by the Hipster Snek, Dietaku, and Cog. Sound design and editing by executive producer Sean Taylor Brown with Cog Sound Engineering. Music written and performed by Sean Taylor Brown with Costas Vaz of Core Insight Studio on the drums. We hope you enjoyed this episode. See you next time.